Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the February 18th regular business meeting of the Board of School Directors. I'm very glad we were all here today. Although we had the 2-hour delay, at least we had part of the day in school. So, what I'd like to do now, before we get to the presentation for Ballackinwood Middle School, Dr. McGinley would like to say a few words.
And very few words. I just wanted to acknowledge that today I sent a letter to the community, and I previously sent a letter to the board indicating that I will be concluding my service here in Lower Merion at the end of June. I will in fact be retiring from public education and moving to a position at Temple University. And so the details are in the letter about what I will be doing, but I would really be rude or remiss if I did not acknowledge the good work of the people in the school district, the support that I've received during the time that I've been here, the support that I have received personally from members of the board, the presidents of the board, and I am very happy to look back on these 6 years and to really think of it as the unbelievable end to a long career in public education, because I've worked in some wonderful places with great people, but I've never had an opportunity to work with the talented team that we have here. And I've never worked in a place where when a need was made known that people stepped forward and filled in and said, we can do this. And those of you who know the work that I've done and some of the things that we've had to tackle while I was here know that a lot of it wasn't easy stuff, but there are also lots of things that I am proud of in the work, and I'm most proud of the team that I've assembled, and some of them are here tonight. So I will be here through the end of the school year, and as I told the cabinet 2 weeks ago, I'll still be in charge till the last hour of the last day, and I won't waste 1 minute of the time that I have left to work with them, and this will all serve me well in my future position. So I've avoided using the word retirement because it makes me feel old, but I am in fact retiring from public education. I just need to get over that, and moving to a position at Temple, which is a university that I really hold in high esteem and a place that I feel at home. So in a way I am going home. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McGinley. Now I'd like to say just a few words on behalf of the board. First of all, as a consequence of Dr. McGinley's resignation, there is an item on the agenda tonight under the personnel section for the acceptance of his resignation. Of course, we as a board are very sorry to see Dr. McGinley leave, but we wish him great success in his new position at Temple and all of his future endeavors. And we greatly appreciate his 6 years of outstanding service to the district. So he's made significant and lasting contributions to our school community, and at some point in the future, when it's appropriate, we will celebrate that. We're also fortunate that Dr. McGinley is fully committed to remain with us through the end of the school year to not only perform his duties, but to support a smooth transition prior to his departure. So I'd like to just say a few words now about the process to identify Dr. McGinley's permanent replacement. The board will undergo a comprehensive national search for the next superintendent. This search will be informed by and build upon the comprehensive planning process now underway to ensure that the qualifications of the next superintendent align with the priorities and long-term vision of the district. We intend the process to be transparent and inclusive of all community stakeholders. And in the coming months, we will select a recruiting firm to assist in this process to ensure a robust pool of qualified candidates with the skills and experience to lead our high-performing and high-profile district. Since this process will inevitably carry on beyond June 30th, 2014, you will see a motion on the agenda under new business this evening to appoint Assistant Superintendent Wagner Marseille as acting superintendent effective July 1, 2014. And the board is very pleased that Dr. Marseille, who currently leads the district's comprehensive planning process, has agreed to assume this role. He's a talented, dynamic educational leader who has served in a variety of administrative roles in Lower Merion, and of course, as assistant superintendent, he has managed all areas of curriculum, instruction, professional development, and school leadership. So due to his current position and knowledge of the district and its personnel, the board feels that Dr. Marseille is distinctly qualified to ensure stability for the district while the search for a permanent candidate is ongoing. So to the community, I just want to say we appreciate your support of Dr. McGinley and Dr. Marseille and the rest of the administrative team in the months ahead, and look forward to your engagement in the upcoming search process. We also encourage your participation in the comprehensive planning process, which is set to begin in the next few weeks. Information about both the superintendent search and the comprehensive planning process, including key dates and opportunities for community input, will be available on our website as those dates become available. There will be time later in the meeting for comments by board members when we get to these two agenda items, but I wanted to make sure that the public had this information prior to the public comment period, and letters were actually sent out earlier today to staff and families, but I wanted to make sure everybody is aware of it. So, yeah, at this point, we need to do public comment. So if anybody would like to make any comments, please. I'm sorry, thank you, Dr. McGinley. I'm actually looking for my agenda here. If anybody would like to make public comments on agenda items only at this point, please come and sign in with Ms. LaPera. There'll be an opportunity at the end to make comments on any issue that you'd like to address. Is there anybody who would like to make public comment at this time? No? Okay. Then what I'd like to do is just move on to our routine business, which is the approval of minutes of the following meetings of the Board of School Directors. January 27th, regular business board meeting. February 10th, oh, I see what I did. I realized, okay, Education Committee and supplementary regular board minutes. January 29th, Finance Committee, February 7th, Policy Committee, and February 12th, Communications Committee. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. And I apologize, Mr. Potton. I realize that we switched the entire agenda around recently so that we could do presentations so that you would be able to go first.
Right. So I am welcoming the team from Ballackinwood, and they are the school that has the beautiful artwork on display, and you're going to tell us a little bit about that and a lot about some other things that are exciting going on at Ballackinwood. So welcome to the Ballackinwood administrative team.
Well, first of all, good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to present to you this evening the wonderful things that are happening at Ballackinwood. As Dr. McGinley said, I do have a little bit of information concerning the artwork, which you can find mostly in the pamphlet, which I previously had distributed. But in terms of the presentation, not choosing to speak specifically to any of it, but only would like to say that I am amazed on a daily basis with what our students are put together. And what they have done throughout the year is explained in that pamphlet. I do wish to share with you today an update on the use of technology, an interdisciplinary project that we do, and our commitment to service. So the use of technology in the district is something that I have felt tremendous support from the board since I arrived. Working with George Frazier, the technology department, and the former supervisor of autistic support, Chris Crawford, we purchased a set of 10 iPads to be used in our autistic support classrooms. Use of these devices has been primarily focused on supporting these students with their communication needs, The use of the iPad focuses on the visual strengths of our students, and students are engaged and motivated, and the games that they play are accessed individually by the students and are used for language stimulation. What I love most about seeing the students use the iPads is that when I walk into that classroom and they're working, students who normally may not wish to speak to me are ecstatic and overjoyed to speak with me about what they're doing. And that is what I see. In addition to the iPads, again, working with George and the technology department, and this time the humanities supervisor, Barbara Giorgio, Chromebooks were purchased, intending to support the delivery of the social studies program in History Alive. What has happened, though, is that it has gone beyond just the social studies curriculum, and the students in 6th grade and staff have become accustomed to using Google Drive and are collaborating in ways that they haven't done before. One such example is the literature circles that we do in 6th grade. Students are reading their selected novels and responding to questions as a group online, even though they might be sitting across from each other in the classroom. The example here, as you can see on the board, is students responding in different colors of text to show who was speaking. And they, again, can, if they have access, communicate at home, although no requirements, because it is uploaded in terms of through Google. And what is, again, amazing is that the teachers are learning from the students and are finding the ease of viewing the students' responses and the feedback that they're able to provide as a exceptional learning tool. With this expanded collaboration, what is sort of next step is we have teachers who are now metaphorically removing the walls of the classroom and have they're setting up their lit circlers to go into other classrooms. So students are, it expands choice for the students, it allows teachers to differentiate more, and students are really learning a lot through this process. So several projects that we have that are done at Ballackinwood Middle School. You've heard of some, I know, Operation Montserrat, 8th grade debates, the sludge project for 8th grade. But one that you may not have heard of is the It's Not Easy Being Green, and that is conducted by our 7th grade students in Team 7-1 and 7-2. The title, It's Not Easy Being Green, and the purpose is to organize students into large groups and allow them to break up into smaller groups to tackle 5 design challenges, which are listed here. And working through the design process, students apply science, math, the arts, current events, writing, reading comprehension, public speaking, I could go on. But the last bullet is they create a storyboard and they shoot, edit, and produce a short video of all solutions to the challenge. And I'd like to share with you one of the students' pieces of work.
Only few wild areas still remain untouched. Do we really want it all to disappear?
And you ask me what I want this year, and I try to make this kind.
You use the half of the Sprite bottle and put it through the tube, and we put a sock over it, and then the coffee filter we put on the cap, and we use the pipe cleaner to hold the coffee filter.
Maybe we'll find better days. So take these words and sing out loud, 'cause
So we're making the app so that then people will become more aware of like the environment and how our actions affect not just us but also the environment.
And we want them to make a change in the environment to help us solve some problems.
trust and peace while we're alive. And the one poor child who saved this world, and this 10 million probably could if we all just.
Okay, so in green energy, we're building wind turbines, which in real life help the environment by creating clean energy instead of using gases to generate electricity. I just made mine out of a CD and pieces from a
So the point of this is people in real life are trying to get biodomes and stuff like that into everybody's house and for people to live in it. So because it's not as it doesn't use as much energy and it protects from natural disasters. So what we're doing here is creating a smaller version of it so we can learn what it's like to make it and how it is.
So thank you. But again, adding just my own thoughts, when I see the students interact in this, what I see most and value most about the process is watching the students working groups through the design process, challenging each other, and most importantly, understanding that in order to succeed, they must first fail. And finally, on service, Ballackinwood Middle School asked to sponsor the Lower Merion School District Afternoon of Service for this school year in 2014. This year's event was the best attended event to date, and what the students and staff of the district produced was amazing. I would like to publicly thank Leslie Bullitt, Amanda Groen, Mary Pat McFarland, and Kelly McDermott, 4 teachers who were our dedicated MLK team. As part of the afternoon of service at Ballackinwood, we elected to do a morning of service that involved all of the students through our rally groups, which is how we deliver the Oveus Bully Prevention Program. Students met and generated activities that focused on local service to our community. Teachers were asked to literally step aside and just allow the students to come up with the ideas, plan, make phone calls, and prepare for the morning. You can see here a list of activities that they generated. This is only a small list. I would like to point out that the selling of hot chocolate was a total of $419. Understand they sold it for 50 cents a piece, so that's a lot of hot chocolate that they delivered throughout the day. And of course, one of the groups, again, decided to document. It's, again, a much longer video that we cut down just to give you some ideas of what was done that morning.
There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love.
Okay, so what's your favorite part about today's day of service?
My favorite part is all the creative activities that students have come up with.
We are making looms right now.
For who?
Rubber band looms.
For who?
They will be delivered to a community organization.
There are ways to get there.
We made breakfast bags, Oreo bags, and then we're making a Valentine card for
Make it a better place.
Hi, this is Ben. He's from Mrs. Fox's class, and I'm going to ask him a few questions about what he's doing in MLK Day. So Ben, what are you going to do for MLK Day? What's your Fox class doing?
Our class is making bookmarks for our library upstairs.
Place for you and for me. If you want to know why.
We are making cards and toys and donating them to CHOP.
What are you doing for Day of Service?
We're making cards for CHOP and Ronald McDonald House.
Cool. My name is Ethan. This is Anthony. So guys, what are you doing for MFA Day?
We're at a hot chocolate stand. Don't let problems go to the office lemonade stand.
Oh, so how does it feel like when you're making these cups of hot chocolate?
Well, it's a lot of work. It's kind of messy, as you can see.
When this earth crucify its soul, though it's plain to see this world is heavenly. Be God's love.
Bracelets for children in the hospital.
Well, we are making cars for all the troops
my
and
makeup on.
soldiers.
For example,
Hey, wait a minute. Selfie.
how does this make you feel of making other people feel happy?
It makes me feel good to help people.
What are you doing for Day of Service?
Well, I am making a Valentine's Day card for the kids out there, and because sometimes parents can afford Valentine things for their children, so I'm making a Valentine's card.
I'm making a card for Chuck.
How does this help the community?
It helps people just make their day better.
So again, thank you. Some of the things you did not see was we had students who went over to the elementary schools and worked with elementary students. We had students who prepared a dinner in our cafeteria, and then teachers delivered it to local organizations. But just a host of activities of service around the building that morning, and it was really a tremendous day for us as a whole. So again, thank you. And know that we appreciate all of the support that you give us and that you allow us to push our students and focus on their success.
Thank you, Mr. Potton. How's everyone holding up with the snow schedule that we've had this past 6 weeks?
Very well. I had a recent meeting and I put a picture of the beach. But no, it's what flexibility and understanding that the schedule is going to change and adjust, and everybody's been great with it. So.
Thank you very much for the presentation. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So just a couple of items. One is related to the weather situation that we've been experiencing. We had sent out a notice about a change to the calendar, and that is the change that we have on the books for right now. We are reviewing all of our options in terms of the calendar. Every time we think we're finished with days off and delayed openings, something else happens. And it's been difficult for all of our students and difficult for all of our teachers to get back into that rhythm. We really have not gotten into that school rhythm that you need. It's particularly difficult for kids who struggle with academics to not have that daily contact or not have that routine set. And so it is of great concern to all of us. And there are obligations that we have to meet to the state. There are obligations we have to meet to our kids and our families, and we're trying to sort that out. So we will come back to the board with an official recommendation for a calendar change at next month's meeting. Hopefully we're clear about that in advance of that, because I know people depend on the schedule that we have set. I really need to also thank the people from maintenance and operations for the more than 13 times that they've cleared parking lots and sidewalks, and for trying to make sure that we are as safe as possible when the staff arrives and when the kids arrive. This morning we actually had a few of our people in transportation fall on the ice while clearing buses, and it was an unfortunate situation. That's the kind of thing that we do try to avoid, but it's something that sometimes we just cannot avoid. So we wish them well, and we wish the people who got hurt this morning a speedy recovery. And we also want to thank everyone for their patience, but we particularly want to thank our bus drivers for all of that, on the spot adjustment that they're making when they find that they can't go somewhere, or that the streets are more narrow than they have ever been, and streets that were two lanes or two directions are suddenly one lane and one direction. So I keep hoping that it's over, but we'll see what happens. I do want to offer one guarantee, and that is that we're going to have school every day the rest of the week, based on the forecast, and that we're going to start on time. So you can count on that. And then up until next Tuesday, I think we can guarantee that we're going to have school right on through next Tuesday. And then it's supposed to snow again, so we'll see what happens after that. So this is generally a really productive learning time in the school year, because we are after the winter break, and we're between winter break and spring break. We can really focus and get things done, and it's been tough. And it's been tough on the teachers, it's been tough on the parents, it's been tough on the kids. So we're not alone in this, and we are aware of other school districts doing some roster adjustments that are new to us, to put it nicely, and we're checking those things out to see if there's something that we can do along those lines, and that's why we don't have a final recommendation. I also want to say that as one consequence of all these schedule changes is that when schools are closed and offices are closed, it puts us behind in central office to do key functions like hiring. And so we came to the last education committee meeting with a proposal to do a new after-school STEM program in elementary schools. And when we went back and looked at where we are with all the days missed and all the interviews missed for some other programs that we have already committed to, we decided that we have to put that one on hold. And I apologize, because I know there is interest in that program, and I think it's an exciting, wonderful program. But we currently run a large-scale after-school program 2 days a week in this building that is now also behind schedule, that is staffed and supervised by the same people who would need to staff and supervise, or at least supervise, those other programs, and those other programs being the school-based extended day program for elementary school students. That's moving forward, but we're behind on interviews for staff for that, and we had to push the implementation date back. When we looked at the scope of work in comprehensive planning and budget development and these other new initiatives, we felt that we were premature to have shared that with you, because we're so behind in these other things. So we will make the other things happen, but we didn't feel that we could do that one with integrity. So that is a consequence of the snow days, and we hope that's something that we can do next year. So I think that's it for my general announcements, and we'll move to the agenda. And so the first agenda item is I'm recommending the Board of School Directors approve human resource items as listed in HR 1 through HR 5, and it's A through F, and F on the agenda is actually my retirement.
We're going to take these all together?
A through F, yes.
Okay. All right. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
I so move.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion's passed.
Thank you. Next is generally a report from the curriculum committee meeting, but we did not have a curriculum committee meeting because of the weather, so may I move the announcements to Dr. Marseille? Or
yes,
okay.
Please.
And the next curriculum committee meeting is March 4th at 8:30 a.m. in this room. Dr. Marseille?
Thank you. The administration recommends that the Board of School Directors approves the overnight trip request for Exhibit C S-1 through CS-4.
Are there any questions? Do you have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lori. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Under Student Services, there's just one item. I'm recommending the Board of School Directors approve student service item listed as SS1.
Are there any questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Do you have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
And before we move to the business and finance items, I wanted to ask the Ballackinwood team to go home. Been a long day for all of us. Thank you so much for being here. Since we're starting on time tomorrow, I want you to get your sleep.
Okay, I don't know what.
We, well,
Another item. Sorry, I jumped in.
it's all right. It's perfect timing anyway. So you had natural ability to sense something. I wanted to table this recommendation because the contract that is in front of you just speaks to the legal language that ensures Startup Corps has met the legal obligation to work with our students and teachers. Exhibit 1 that was supposed to be attached articulated the number of days and hours and the cost that that would incur. So I wouldn't want you to vote on the contract and not have no specific numbers. We did 2 months ago have Startup Corps do a presentation to us, to curriculum committee of the board. They the year before they did have a small pilot program that they ran at Lower Marion High School where entrepreneurs did come and visit the classroom twice a cycle and provided students with really some outstanding experiential experiences around entrepreneurship. And we wanted to continue that, that into a larger program. But the exhibit detailing the cost and the frequency, unfortunately, is not attached, but they have cleared everything else in terms of working with us. So I'll have to forward you the actual numbers.
So you're tabling it today, and we're bringing it back to the next meeting for approval?
Yes.
Okay. So now we're up to the report of the Facilities and Purchasing Committee. Ms. Robinson?
The Facilities and Purchasing Committee met this morning at 10:30 a.m. in this room. We discussed the list of bills for payment. We also discussed a number of contracts related to purchasing boilers for Welsh Valley Middle School, as well as recommended changes to the entrance for Kinwood Elementary School, which we're going to vote on. So I'm going to turn it over to Vic.
Okay, under the Business Office and Finance, I'm going to take 2 action items first. Approve list of bills for payment and approve the financial report for January 2014.
Are there any questions? Do I have a motion to approve? Thank you. Do you have a second? Thank you, Marissa. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion's passed.
The administration recommends the Board of School Directors adopts the preliminary 2014-15 school budget, which authorizes expenditures totaling $234,620,559 as presented in Exhibit BF-1, levies a real estate tax of 25.3829 mils, continues a 1% real estate transfer tax under Act 511, and continues the $5 local services tax. This action item is required under Act 1. You're required to approve a preliminary budget by February 19th. The final decision and budget is scheduled for June 9th.
Okay, I'd just like to say something about this to make sure that everybody's clear what we're doing at the moment. So in recent years, the Board of School Directors and the administration have moved aggressively to review programs and implement strategies for reducing and cutting costs while seeking to maintain core programs. The preliminary budget that we're voting on this evening sets the ceiling for budget discussions that will take place until we vote on the final budget in June. So this is the preliminary budget, not the final budget. There will be numerous opportunities for public feedback on the budget prior to the approval of the final budget. These include all regularly scheduled board business meetings and budget hearings, which are scheduled for, this evening is one, April 28th, May 19th, May 25th, and June 9th. In addition, there's going to be meetings of the Finance Committee scheduled as well, and I believe there's one February 26th at 8 a.m., correct? I think that's the date. Okay. And this information will be updated on our website as it becomes available. So I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. So are there any questions or comments at this time? Do I have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes.
And the administration recommends the Board of School Directors authorizes the filing for budget exceptions or referendum exceptions in accordance with Act 1 to the Department of Education. This allows us to apply for special education and the retirement exception to go above the Act 1 index of 2.1.
Okay, are there any questions or comments? Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes.
The Finance Committee recommends that the Board of School Directors commissions the firm of Rayner and Company to audit the accounts of the school district for 2013-14 through 2015-16 fiscal years as per Exhibit BF-2.
Any questions or comments? Do I have a motion to approve? Thank you, Diane. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
The administration recommends the Board of School Directors declare as surplus equipment and property in Exhibit BF-3.
Any questions? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Marissa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
On the addendum, there's another action item under Business Office and Finance. The administration recommends the Board of School Directors approves the agreement of sale of 111 Union Avenue in Bala Cynwyd, PA, as per the resolution.
Are there any questions or comments? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Suba. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
The administration recommends that the Board of School Directors awards the bid to the contractor named in Exhibit FO-1 for the replaced boilers at Walsh Valley Middle School.
This was reviewed earlier, correct, Suba? That's what you're saying? Okay. Do I have, I'm sorry, are there any questions? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes.
The next item, we are going to table that for a future meeting. I'm going to take the next few action items in one motion, if that's okay with everybody? Okay. The following recommended action items, the administration recommends, God bless you.
Bless you.
The Board of Directors approves the independent consultant contract with Paula Singer for the coordination of the Girls Leadership Conference for Lower Merion and Harrington High Schools. It's in Exhibit FO-3. Approve the master agreement for professional services with David Blackmore Associates and the individual work order number 1 for a fee not to exceed $1,120.01. It's in Exhibit FO-4. Approve the master agreement for professional service with Element Environmental Solutions and individual work order number 1 for an amount not to exceed $7,400. That's in Exhibit FO-5. Approves the purchase of replacement boilers for the Walsh Valley Middle School in the amount of $177,980. It's in Exhibit FO-6. Approve the contract award to S.J. Thomas Company, Inc. for the Cynwyd Elementary Secure Entrance Project. That's in FO-7. And the following change orders approval: the campus wayfinding signage at Lower Merion High School. That's in FO-8. School renovations at Bala Cynwyd Middle School. That's in Exhibit FO-9 and 10. And the electrical contractor also at Bala Cynwyd. That's in FO-11 and 12.
Are there any questions? Do I have a motion to approve?
I have a
Oh, I'm
question.
sorry. Go ahead.
So why are we, what's the Why are we not considering the Cheryl Tracy photography contract?
We had questions on the contract that we're still trying to resolve.
Oh, okay, I
So-
thought those were resolved. Apologies.
So is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Maureen. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
If I could just interrupt, I had read item number 4 on page 3, but there was never actually a vote. I've been alerted by our board secretary.
On which one?
On page 3, item number 4, it's the student services.
We did vote. Oh,
There
we voted, but we can do it again if we need to record.
No, was there a vote?
If there
We
was a
went
vote, I
back?
can just listen back to
Okay.
the meeting. That's fine,
I thought we voted.
right?
Now I'm getting, now.
We
I'm-
voted, and then we went back to Dr. Marseille after the vote? Okay.
That's what I
Okay.
thought.
All right,
All right.
thank you.
You want to vote
It's
again
okay.
just in case?
No.
Okay. So- No do-overs?
I usually write down, this is the one day I don't.
About who made the motion?
Who motioned and
No, I
seconded?
didn't write it down.
Forget it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're going to move now to the business of the Board of School Directors. We're going to start with old business, but first we're going to have a report from the Policy Committee by Mrs. Pollard.
The Policy Committee met on Friday, February the 7th, 2014. First readings, Policy number 246, prohibited harassment by and of students, was up for a first reading. Policies number 346, 446, and 546, prohibited harassment by and of employees and other members of the school community, were revised and was approved by the committee to remain as a first reading. Second readings, Policy 112, Guidance and Counseling Services. After being reviewed by the committee, no changes were made, so this policy will be moved to a second reading. Policy 113, Psychological Services, also after being reviewed by the committee, was moved to a second reading. Policy 109, Resource Materials, with minor non-substantive changes. Since the first reading, was recommended that this policy would also be moved to a second reading. Administrative regulations. Administrative Regulation 108, which is adoption of curriculum materials. This regulation was discussed in the context of what student information the district would be allowed for software vendors to obtain from our students. Because of the questions that were asked and were not able to be answered because of Mr. Frazier's absence, the committee deferred the discussion until Mr. Frazier could be present. Administrative Regulation 109, Resource Materials, was approved as presented. Administrative Regulation 246, prohibited harassment by and of students, was approved. Administrative Regulations 346, 446, and 546 prohibited harassment by and of employees and other members of the school committee. These regulations were tabled to allow for additional revisions by administration and the solicitor. For discussion, policy number 114, special education. The committee asked that this policy be revised and discussed along with the accompanying regulation with the Committee for Special Education. Policy number 115, vocational and technical education. The committee suggested revisions to this draft policy and agreed to move it forward for first reading at this meeting. Policy 116, assignment of exceptional pupils to special programs. The committee supported the administration's recommendation to repeal this policy in tandem with the eventual amendment of Policy 114. Policy 460, tutoring for a fee. The committee discussed at length the request of a resident to prohibit tutoring of students by teachers assigned to the student's school. The topic has been referred to administration for additional input and information as to the policies of other districts. Our next meeting will be, and you need to really make a note of this, Thursday, March the 6th at 8:30 a.m. Usually our meetings are on Friday, but before all of the white gold, the school was going to be closed on Friday, March the 7th. Now, the school will be open, but we're still going to keep our meeting on Thursday, March the 6th, because it has been advertised.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Pollard. What we need to do now is we need to vote on the policies that have been reviewed for a second reading. So that's policies 112, 113, and 109. So are there any questions about those policies at this time? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. At this time now, the board is going to vote on the motion for the appointment of Dr. Wagner Marseille as the acting superintendent beginning on July 1, 2014. Mr. Roos, can you read the motion, please? Yeah, that's.
The administration recommends that the Board of School Directors
No, it's
approves
not.
the.
Sorry, it's not the administration recommending. No.
I'm sorry.
That's.
It is resolved.
Yes.
That the Board of
That's
School
why-
Directors.
Thanks.
Yes, okay. It's resolved that the Board of School Directors appoints pursuant to 24 PS 10-1079, Dr. Wagner Marseille as acting superintendent for a term beginning on July 1st, 2014, and ending upon termination by further resolution of the Board. Dr. Marseille shall continue to receive the compensation and benefits set forth in his current employment agreement pending further action by the Board, and the provisions of that agreement relating to compensation and benefits remains in effect.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments by anyone on the board? Great. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Suba. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Dr. Marseille.
Care to say a few words?
Yes, a couple, because I talk too much. There's a lot I could say, but I want to first thank the board for their continued support and look forward to this new leadership opportunity. I think there's another appropriate time for me to talk about my admiration for Dr. McGinley and the role he's played in my career, not only as a mentor, as a colleague, but as a friend. So I want to reserve that for another time, but thank him for everything that he's done, and I look forward to working with him a lot closer now than I've been before, even though we work very close together as we move towards this next transition. And my primary objective is always to serve this community and to serve this board and to serve our students in any capacity that the board sees fit. And I look forward to this opportunity until we move into a more permanent setting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'm going to move to other committee reports. The Communications Committee met recently, Ms. Ackman.
The Communications Committee met on February 12th in the evening. It was right in between some of the snow events. So as Doug Young noted, it's been a very busy time for the Communications Office. The administration, and I think he's gotten very good feedback about all the communications related to the snow delays and school being closed, and we noted and we thought it was great that there had been some extra communication kind of providing updates throughout the day, especially in anticipation of the bigger storm last week, and that at least the board committee and I think citizens really appreciated getting kind of extra information, especially knowing how the administration was anticipating the snow, very quick communication about schedule changes, and given how much everyone expects to be communicated with given our electronic age, he expects that to be a kind of trend moving forward. We also noted that, which had been discussed previously, that the administration has launched a new feature in terms of the alerts. So if you go to an independent school and you don't attend public school, but you rely on the district for transportation, you can get the same up-to-date information as you would if your child attended one of the public schools, and that was really important for scheduling purposes. So a lot of discussion about that. A few other highlights. Online registration has now started. I guess this has been planned for a while. It's launched. There's already 70 to 80 online registrations that have happened. So I think that's been a good new innovation in terms of making that easy. There's been a number of really great events that have been highlights. The ISC Art Show, the Kinwood 100 event. There's a lot of events related to Black History Month. All of that is detailed on the website. So it really has been a very busy time for the district. And finally, we talked about streamlining and updated the print calendar, which will continue. It's, something, as Marissa noted, that hangs in practically every kitchen in Lower Merion Township. And there it is again. But we're going to try to make sure that we only print events that are probably most likely to stay on those dates. Some of the performances and other things tend to be a little bit flexible. So moving forward, the goal is to put kind of the most static dates in the print calendar and then kind of transfer all the other dates to the online calendars and really direct people to those, so everyone is kind of showing up at the right time for events and other things. So I think those were the highlights. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And then we have a report of the Legislative Committee Chair, Dr. O'Leary.
The Legislative Committee has not met since our last meeting, but just a couple quick updates. The Charter Reform Bill, House Bill 1085, is still waiting for a vote in the Senate. Next Tuesday, February 25th at 7:30 p.m., Tina Valletta will be here to talk about Bill 1085 and also about the governor's proposed budget, and everybody's welcome to come to that meeting. That will be here in this room. And then recently the House has passed Bill 1738, which proposes a committee to present another new formula for fair funding of basic education. That's passed the House. 5 major education groups in Pennsylvania have backed that bill, and it's likely to pass the Senate soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we also have a report of the Finance Committee from Ms. DiBonaventura.
Thanks. The Finance Committee met on January 29th, and the first point we discussed was a presentation and a discussion from Glenn Willard of PFM, who does our bonding, and we talked about the need to finance the work the projects we're doing, and the possibility of a $10 million bond this spring, and then the possibility of the final amount, which could be as much as another $10 million for next spring. We will stay on top of that, and as that comes up, we'll present more fully on that. We also had an action item on the board agenda tonight on hiring or rehiring Rainier and Company as our auditors. We've been very pleased with the extent and effort that they put forth towards our audits, so we decided to stay with them for another 3 years. And then the last item that we talked about was planning and discussion for our future meetings, and we scheduled a meeting for Wednesday, February 26th, which Denise is not on this agenda. So if you can just add that into the meeting, into the minutes for this meeting.
Get it right.
Wednesday, February 26th at 8 a.m. And the topic of that is going to be kind of a basic overview of the school finance. Get a little bit more into the nuts and bolts of what's involved in the budgeting process, and then at the end of that meeting we'll prioritize what we want to talk about. We discussed several issues, the CPAS, which is our health insurance funding, the technology budget, an update on our food service fund and budget, and we talked about a presentation on where our per pupil costs come from. So those will all be topics for future meetings, and as they are scheduled, I'll be sure to share those with the committee.
Thank you very much, Diane. Okay, at this time, I'd like to ask if there's anyone from the public who would like to come up and speak, to please come and sign in and say your name and where you live, and there's a 3-minute limit.
Ruth Jenkins, 354 Worcester Road. Good news, it's 30 days till spring. That's the first thing. My grandchildren think late opening is now the new normal, and they really like it. The reason I'm up here is, as I went back over last week's agenda, I was looking at the cost of summer school. And my feeling is that the cost of summer school is exorbitant, especially for students of limited means, families of limited means. And in truth, what this does is not allow a student with limited means to take an advanced class, and further increases the achievement gap. And also for a student that needs remediation or has failed a class. $800, $900, this is a tremendous amount of money. And I would really like you, in a district as wealthy as ours, with money spent on so many, I don't want to say extraneous things, but on so many various things, not to be able to accommodate students who need summer school and students who want to advance through summer school. I know that for me, summer school was always my camp. I took music lessons at summer school. I took advanced classes at summer school. I even repeated classes at summer school. All through elementary school, through high school, through college. Summer school was a wonderful opportunity to have an education in a small setting, in an intense program that only dealt with one subject, so I wouldn't have to be worrying about all of this. And it is a tremendous opportunity for students. And I'd like you to please consider changing these exorbitant costs. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jenkins. We have a couple different obligations when we operate summer school. One is, for many students, it is an opportunity to retake something that they took during the year. We, for the purposes of our responsibility to taxpayers, need to collect some funds to support an experience that's outside of the regular calendar. So we spend money on lots of things, and we spend some money on summer school, but we also do collect tuition from students. But we don't collect tuition from students of families who live at or below the level of poverty that would enable them to have free or reduced price lunches. So kids with free and reduced price lunch don't pay the $800. They pay a registration fee, which is $50, and the rest of it is covered, and that's for an enrichment or a review or a makeup course. We also have in the elementary school and middle school, we have programs that we recommend kids to. Sometimes it's an expression of an IEP, which then it's covered by the district because it's an extended year situation, and other times it's covered because because the family is on free and reduced lunch.
There is a large group of students that fall above the poverty line, where this is still really out of the family ability to pay when they're paying for medical bills or they're paying for other things in job market the way it is. And I think that in a district like this that we could accommodate better those students that fall between the cracks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to make a comment? Ask a question? Okay. At this point, I'd like to read the Sunshine Act announcements and schedule of upcoming meetings. February 10th, 2014, we met in exec session to discuss personnel issues. This evening, we met in exec to discuss real estate and personnel. Future board meetings are scheduled for February 24th at 7 p.m. There's a HR committee meeting. February 25th, 7:30 p.m. There's a legislative committee meeting. February 26th, 8 a.m., a finance committee meeting. March 4th, 8:30 a.m., curriculum committee meeting. March 6th, 8:30 a.m., policy committee meeting. March 10th, 8 p.m., education meeting. March 12th, 8:30 a.m., communications committee meeting. March 13th, 8:30 a.m., facilities and purchasing committee meeting. And then March 17th, 8 p.m., regular, I think it's business meeting. And again, I think we will be scheduling more finance committee meetings as well that will be updating everyone. Again, on behalf of the board, I'd also like to thank all of the staff, who have been dealing with the weather. Actually, that's all the staff, really. I was thinking facilities and transportation, but really all of the staff, so we really appreciate that. And with that, we're adjourned.